There we go, we're live now. Welcome.
Hey, the song actually goes real well for today.
It does. I've timed it right where I know that when it gets to that bass drop part, I can start talking and it just fades into the talk. And I really love that. I think it's really cool.
Oh, man.
It was crack up. When me and Colt actually found the song, we were just looking through all copyright-free intro music.
Yeah.
And we just found like a playlist of like 10-second songs. And we were going through them and they're all crap. They all sound like gaming channel music.
Yeah.
And then we got to this one and it was called, what was it called?
Kind of gets all like cliche and stuff, eh?
Yeah. Mysterious. The song's literally called Mysterious.
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking at like, that's got to be the one, surely, played it, and we're like,
and
we
it
can
goes
work with that.
Unknown something else. So.
That's cool. That works.
Oh, it does work.
It works well.
Man.
Right, anyway, we don't have Colt here. We have Aaron.
Yep.
How are we?
Yeah, not too bad. Excited. I've never done a podcast before, so.
No, you've been very excited recently.
Yeah.
Very excited.
I've always wanted to do one, and now I'm doing one, so it's like, yeah. Man.
No, it's mean. It's good to have someone else on. Colt couldn't make it today, but he'll be at the next one.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Hard. Nah. So how's your day been?
Yeah, my day's been good.
Yeah.
I had you along with me for my day, man. I had you for like half the day.
Oh, that was actually pretty mean. Like I was saying, like I'd love to just not work out and just go with the bros.
Yeah.
Like,
It's fun. I used to love doing it. I've done it a few times. I've had a few different people along with me in my job currently.
Yeah.
And they've all said the same. Like, it's just cool to be doing a different job because you don't know how it's done until you do it, right? So.
And like like how I was saying that like you don't want to be in a job that you're just doing your whole life. Like you don't want to be in a boring job. You want to be in a job that's like, I don't really want to go to work, but I'll go to work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you want to be in a job that like it doesn't take hours of like, every day just I don't want to be here anymore. Like this is dumb. Like I just want to go home. Like you want to at least like go home and be like, work was actually pretty mean.
Work was mean.
Like,
and tomorrow's going to be just as good, if not better.
Wow.
You know? That's the attitude you want.
Well, yeah.
You know, but that is the attitude you want, and only a good job's going to give that to you. You're not going to get that out of a job you hate or a job that's shit.
But then again, like you've got to work for it as well, at a point. But then,
definitely.
Like, I feel like your boss has to work for it, because like you could be like a flat down hands down worker and everything, and you could get your jobs done on time, you could be top of the class, blah 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 blah, but at the end of the day it's your boss that's making the decisions, and he could just be like, well, no, I don't want you anymore, and you can still like working, everyone thinks like, it's so hard to find a job, and then when you got a job you're like, it's all down to me. Well, it's not just all down to you.
No,
you could be excellent, but because someone else is like talking shit behind your back, or they've like come along after you've finished something and done something just to adjust it a little bit, thinking that they're right, and then they fucked it up, and it's just like, oh no, that was him, kind of thing. Like, I don't know, work is like school. Like you still can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Got to play your cards right. Really
pretty
do.
much, and especially like. Well, like for me, instance, like how working with customers or like being on job sites, you can't really say fuck or shit like real loud. Or,
got to be polite.
Well, yeah, exactly, and like especially where you are working as well, like schools, you can't just be walking around swearing and talking with the boys. Kind of thing. Like,
you definitely cannot do that.
Oh, but no, I still reckon like at the end of the day, it's not all about yourself when it comes to work. Like it's. Like the environment and like the workers that you have to work with as well. That's
it. The whole environment of the workplace has got to work. It's got to really work, which is why we don't have a lot of successful jobs. Like we have successful jobs, but the people that stick with them, you've got a very small portion of people that are actually sticking with that job for a long period of time. You know, otherwise just going through stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. But it doesn't help where we've got people in society today that don't want to work. They just want to live on the dole. Yeah,
people don't want to work anymore.
Like, I'd love to live on the dole. Well, I'm on the dole, I can't really talk. But, like, even then, like, it's boring. Like, what makes you satisfied of, like, years and years of sitting at home? Cool. How much of your life have you caught up on?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right. You're right.
You don't have that, like, money to be like, okay, I want to set goals for myself. You don't got the money to be like, okay, let's go out and do something. Gotta pay rent, gotta pay bills, I got a bit of money left for food and maybe some ciggies, I'll chill at home for the rest of the week. Like, dumb.
Yeah.
Like your work, you get to go out to Marston. You get
Yeah,
to,
the whole
travel.
Wellington region,
Kerry's
Kapiti.
work, he gets to go up and down New Zealand. Tommy, he's all around Wellington.
Yeah.
Colt, in different houses.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Like,
been unlucky with where he is at the moment, where
Yeah.
he's doing every house next to each other. But normally, yes.
yeah, hard. Hey, but like at the same time, gives him I reckon, like with Colt being like a painter, it gives him an idea of how he wants his own house.
Yeah. He's got a lot of good points to do with housing,
Yeah.
like as well. Like we
What?
spilled recently
Sell
about
his
the housing
house.
market.
Sell his house and live in a 32. Yeah.
yeah.
Good housing advice.
No, he actually did give some good housing advice recently.
yeah.
Our a couple episodes ago, episode 4 was about the housing crisis, and he made some really fucking good points about
how shocking it is.
Yeah. We're talking about how shocking it is.
No.
So he switched on, and it's because of his half it is due to his job. He gets to see how a lot of it works, a lot of how it's made, a lot of how it's spent, and being in the housing market himself, he can see it as well.
Yeah.
And he knows where he sits and can see how we are sitting where we are with it.
Yeah.
So
and low key, like from his point of view too, he can probably see like where the money's at, like what you need to make the money out of the house kind of thing. Like you know how, like 2-bedroom house doesn't have a garage or whatever could sell for like $100,000, but then you've got a 2-bedroom house that has a little yard and a garage, boom, that could sell for like $300,000.
yeah,
kind
easy,
of thing. Like,
easy.
I reckon, like, yeah, he's got a good act of, like, taking a note, like, all right, this house is this and this and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this is making, like, quite a bit of money, but where this house has got only this and this, but it's still making the same amount of money.
Yeah.
That makes sense? I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, you know what he actually wants? What he wants to do?
What?
He wants to will sell his house, buy a plot of land with a tiny home.
Yeah, he was talking to me about that.
Yeah, which
Like,
is ideal.
He just doesn't know where he wants to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just finding a plot
Because
of land somewhere.
we've talked heaps about going back down south.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he told me last night some places he was thinking of going,
Yeah.
or just staying here, and that was like the hardest one because this place isn't going anywhere. Up Hutt,
No.
Up Hutt isn't going anywhere. It's growing very slowly. I love it here, but I totally understand.
Yeah, but you've been away.
Yeah, I've been away.
You're like, I'm
I've just
finally
gotten back. Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's got a good plan, and he's very much like a minimalist. So he can live with a tiny home. He says it's literally got everything I need. What more could I want? So
Pretty much. And he's a
Fair
quiet
enough.
person. Like, he's a stick to himself kind of person.
yeah, he
So,
is. He is.
Yeah. So, like, tiny home would work out in his favour, to be honest.
Mm.
I'd love tiny home, or even like caravan, to be honest.
That would work.
Then you don't have to have like what is it? How you have to pay for like your property and all that.
Yeah.
What's that called?
Rates.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think you do to some degree because of the land, but it's nowhere to like if you're paying rates for a house.
But even then,
my
like-
grandparents do that.
What?
Like they live in an RV on
Yeah.
plot. Like they just park in campsites
Yeah.
and just live out of an RV. It's like they're not even paying for land,
Yeah, yeah.
but they'll stay at a campsite for
Yeah.
multiple months on end and then
Pretty
move on.
much.
But
Same as
they've got
my
one of the
house.
big ones with it's the walls on the sides
Yeah.
pop out and
They
it's like
actually
2
rust the
bedroom.
quickest,
And,
apparently.
oh, they've had so many problems. They've had to replace the floorboards because
Yeah.
they keep getting damp and so cool design, but it didn't do it too well.
Yeah.
But cheap idea,
Fun.
cheap way of living.
It is. Like, my parents did it, like, a couple years ago. Yeah, they just had enough of paying rates. They wanted to move back down to, like, the South Island, since we're from the South Island.
Yep.
So, yeah, they just were like, nah, stuff it. We're going to end up selling the business at some point, so we'll move out now. Dad built his own caravan, and, yeah, pretty much went from something like $500-600, or maybe more. I don't know. I've never owned a house, so I wouldn't know how much it is to actually like pay rates and all that.
Mhm.
But going from that to paying 120 a week,
Yeah, so a good decrease.
yeah, shit, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, if you're
it's worth
making a
it.
4-figure income, that 500-600 whatever, going down to 120, like, whew. Like, all that money is
Big
just freed
difference.
Up. Yeah.
It makes a
pretty much.
big difference.
But hey, I'd
Definitely
do
a cheap
it.
way of living.
I'd do it. Like, I'd love to own my own house. Don't get me wrong, but the way that the world's going,
It's just not getting very possible.
nah, it's minimum wage is going up like crazy. But
Yeah, well, that's about to go up again.
It's already at 20.
Has it gone up? Oh, it's going up to what, 21.50, isn't it? I'm
Yeah,
sure I read that the other day.
sometime soon.
Yeah,
They
in the
don't
near
know if
future.
yeah, well, I don't know. Like, last year went 19, this year 20, like,
Mm.
and it's all because the people that work at KFC and McDonald's can't do their job properly, and they whinge that they want $20 an hour.
Yeah. But it fucks over everything else though,
Well,
because
that's-
minimum wage goes up, and everything else goes up
Yeah.
with it. So
Food,
food goes up, living goes up, rent goes up, right? All that stuff goes up. But then the people that are making just a bit more than minimum wage don't go up.
No.
So everything becomes harder
Yeah.
for that person.
And a lot of people start thinking it's unfair because it's just like, well, I've worked my ass off to get 25 or 22 an hour, like, and all of a sudden you've got this person starting on 22, like, nah, well, it's not how it works. Like, to be honest, I reckon if you're making more than minimum wage, if minimum wage goes up, your wage should go up the same.
Yes, everyone should.
Yeah.
Everyone's wage should go up
Because
the
then
same.
it keeps the hierarchy. It keeps the level at the level. You don't have
But
supervisors.
see, then
and
technically
bosses.
nothing would happen in the world because everything just go up accordingly.
Yeah.
So all we're doing is making the dollar more expensive,
Yeah, well, pretty much, and
which is all we're doing anyway.
yeah, pretty much. Like, I reckon if we, like, yeah, okay, leave minimum wage at 19. I don't know, 18. Like, 18 was a better number. Like, if you decrease tax, food, living, you're still making enough money to pay your bills, your rent or whatever. You're still buying food, and you've got that little bit of money extra over. But every time we raise minimum wage, everything else goes up. So then everyone sits there and complain, oh, I wish they'd raise minimum wage more, and cause so I can
Yeah,
get more. But
yeah.
they don't realise that your rent's going to also go up,
Go
your
up.
power's going to go up,
Your food's gonna
gonna
go
go
up.
and then you're left with the exact same money you were left like 2
Mhm.
years ago.
Yep.
Like, technically, if I look at myself and my line of work, I've been on 18, 19, and 20. And after tax and after hours, I'm literally making the same as what anyone would on minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what people don't get. They're like, yeah, more money. It's just like, but you got to think of the consequences.
Yeah.
Like, bigger picture.
Yeah, all you're doing is making the dollar more valuable.
Pretty much. And then it gets to the point where, like, you know how Australians' dollar can be either higher or lower. But if we're making, like, if we, for instance, like Australia, you can be on minimum wage like 25 or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know, talking shit. But you come to here and we're on like 30. Everyone's going to be like mean, but then they'll see how much it's worth living here. And
Yeah,
they'll be
yeah, the
like,
30's just
you know,
gonna just barely get you through living.
pretty
You know,
much.
so like it pans out.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Exactly, and like at the moment, like what, 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom,
2 bedroom.
2 bedroom place, like what, 500 to 600 roughly.
Yeah. It was between that.
Bedroom for me is 200 roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that when minimum wage is 25.
Mm.
That's probably going to be like
It's gonna be way more.
300 or 400
It's going
for
to
a
be way
bedroom.
more. And you think our living costs are going to go up? Our living income's going to go up? No. We're going to be in the exact same place, spending more of our money that we don't have.
Pretty much. Like, look at fuel already. Like, I remember when I first had my first vehicle, which was a 99 3-litre diesel Toyota Hilux non-turbo, and $20 used to get me like 14 litres.
Yep.
$20 gets me like 9,
Mm.
maybe less. Like, and
Yep.
that's shocking. That's
It
real
is. It's
shocking.
ridiculous.
And I've actually got to go to like Goal to get where like Goal, it kind of is shit fuel, but like it's the cheapest. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it
what
is.
I can afford.
Yeah. And it is bottom of the barrel fuel, but
Yeah.
hey, it's fuel. It's like buying
But
the
even
cheapest
then,
pack of
that
darts,
bottom
right?
of the barrel, like that bottom of the barrel fuel isn't good for our vehicles.
No.
And we
We
shouldn't
just
be having to like come down to, oh, well, we've got to chuck this in or we don't.
yeah, because now you've got more mechanical costs on your car, so
Yeah.
really it's just panning out again.
Exactly. Like Goal and Palmy, they had a big thing about their fuel because, you know, like if you're left the car for too long, fuel will get like irritated and shit will fall in, and then that will go through the fuel lines.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
Well, that's what Goal's fuel was doing. People were putting like filling up their cars, all of a sudden going down the road, and fuel lines are blocked, or
Shit.
because there's just too much, like grime and
Yeah.
crap in the fuel that they haven't filtered anything out. And they're
Shit.
just trucking it straight into the tank. So all that shit would just go straight into your tank, and then that runs through your car, and then your car's
Fuck.
And
That's
they had a
crazy.
big write-up about it too, and all got changed was new owners and different fuel.
Wow.
Prices stayed the same.
Price stayed the
just
same.
Different fuel.
Yeah.
Like, but that,
That's crazy. I once was in Christchurch in my my first car, my Hyundai.
Yeah.
When I was travelling to South Island, and when I was in Christchurch, I was actually staying there for like 3 days, and after the first day there, my car started like misfiring, like really badly misfiring. It was like not actually firing as a whole cylinder.
So it's like you dropped the cylinder.
Yeah, but it would come right, and then it wouldn't, and then it would, then it wouldn't. Right, so I eventually it happened, and it didn't come right. So I parked up and walked like 40 minutes to a Repco, spent $200, brought new leads and spark plugs, went back, replaced it all, tore the leads off, and forgot which order they went in. So I spent about 2 hours doing that.
Trying to figure out, like, turning it on. Nah, not that way.
And
again.
and it still didn't fix it. I couldn't fucking work it out. And it wasn't until I had eventually used up all that fuel and put in another tank of fuel that came right.
Yeah.
So in the end, I just put it down to a bad batch of fuel.
Yeah.
But it was that bad that it literally like stopped the whole cylinder from fucking firing.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's fucked.
And it can get that bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we're in a world where we're money hungry. Everyone, well, not everyone. Like,
A good portion.
I wish I had money, but at the end of the day, if I had money, I'd just spend it on all yous.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Like, money is just to make the world go round. Like, money isn't happiness.
Money's nothing, man. Money
can be happiness, but only for so long.
money is legitimately nothing. It is just numbers on a screen. It doesn't even exist. If everybody put together, like if everybody tried to withdraw all of the money that they have in their accounts, they couldn't provide it. We don't have that much physical cash.
And even then, like, we wouldn't even be. We're only allowed to, like, in a week. Well, through like Westpac, you're only allowed to draw like $1,500 out a week, max.
Yeah. I know some people
Like,
it's even less.
Yeah. What if like you want to draw out $2 million?
You can't.
But it's my money.
Yeah, but you can't because there's not enough money to provide.
Wow.
That's it. Money doesn't exist. And then when you do have it, what's the point anyway? Because the only value is the fact that we've said there's value in it.
But even then, like, it's like gold blocks. Gold blocks, like, everyone thinks gold block, oh, wow, that's like probably like $1 million. No, that's like $1,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not too much for a gold block, right?
No.
Gold isn't too expensive. It is valued, and it's probably like one of the better ways to store your money because you've got it in actual value. It's something that's never going to lose value. So you've actually got proper value there. It's one of the best ways to store money, but yeah, I don't believe it's much for a whole gold block. Like you get a fair amount, and it's pretty fucking heavy. But I don't believe it's too costly for a whole gold block.
What if you rip a $5 note in half? Is that still worth $5?
No, it's actually illegal, and it's an offence that you can be done for.
Actual.
Yeah, it's destruction of currency.
Dumb.
Yeah, don't ever do that.
I've thought about like just ripping one up and taping it back together and just handing it over and see what they've done. But
That you can do if you have two pieces.
Yeah.
It's ripped accidentally, and you've taped it back together. I believe that's still okay.
Actual.
I'm not 100% on that. It might be if it's ripped completely, it doesn't. But if if it's almost fully ripped but not, and you tape it back up, it's okay. I'm pretty sure it's like as long as 90% of the currency's there, it's
So I
legal.
couldn't chuck like a $50 note and a $5 note together.
No,
this
it'll
is
be
$55.
it wouldn't be worth anything. But technically, it's not worth anything to start with. So like that concept should work, right?
Yeah. Well, you
But
would think,
it doesn't,
but nah.
because it's just a piece of paper,
Yeah.
laminated,
It's numbers.
has no actual value.
Pretty much. Nah, I don't know. Like, I'm not smart. I'm not a smart person, so I don't understand like that side of like being a banker and blah 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 blah. But even then, like, it's not hard to see like the simple things in life that just need to stop.
Yeah.
In a way, like minimum wage. Stop raising minimum wage, and people will stop complaining. Or like I said, raise living cost. Oh, not raise, lower living cost, and leave minimum wage where it is. And everyone's going to be like, hey, look, I can actually start affording stuff now.
The government needs to step in and lower the living costs of everything. So because there's no reason, like there's no legitimate reason in theory that houses are starting to get so expensive. that shit's not actually valued at that. All the materials does not cost what they're charging now. It's come down to the fact that we have more money, people have more desire, and they're willing to buy it. And all it takes is one person to spend a fuckload, and people will go, oh,
or just
that's
someone to put a price on it.
Yeah. So like that's happening with that. It's happening with food. It's happening with everything.
Yeah.
Everything, because the desire is there, and people do have enough money to just go, yeah, I'll pay that much for it. Not all of us do, but a great deal of people do, and that's all it takes to screw the people that don't have that option to start with over even more. Like the government needs to step in and just go, whoa, this shit's not worth this much, guys.
Yeah, but they see the money and they're like, well, we've got to pay back this country and we've got to pay back this country, so we'll just kind of screw our country over to get the money back.
Yeah, that's it. They also need the money, so they're not going to say no.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Like, look at it. Like,
and in return for all that money, they try and please us.
Like Helen Clark, she got us in $15 billion worth debt. Yeah, okay, that was to help out Auckland and housing situations, and like technically doing a good deed if you think about it. Like she was just trying to be like, hey, we'll make housing a bit easier for everyone in a way, but she needs to think about all the immigrants and how many people actually move to New Zealand, and they're the people that are complaining because it's just like, well, we want all the stuff that you can have, and it's just like, but this is our homeland. Like, I hate how someone overseas don't even need to be here and they can buy land. Like,
we can do that with places too. We can buy land overseas.
Yeah, but like even then, it shouldn't be that easy. Like, you should have to at least be a New Zealand citizen to buy New Zealand land. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
But with government and everything else, like, yeah, Helen Clark, $15 billion worth of debt after trying to help everything out. John Key comes in, gives back that 15 billion, like got us out of that debt. Yeah, okay, we got back into, I think it was like $7 or $8 million worth of debt kind of thing. But that was actually like to help out like schools, roads and everything. And everyone's sitting there like, oh nah, he's a fuckwit, blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, okay, some of his points might have been wrong and all that, but everyone's different. Like, everyone has their own point, everyone has their own mind thinking and everything. Then you've got old fucking Auntie Cinder that's in at the moment, and like, yeah, okay, there's some points that she is doing a good job, but like, at the same time, like, she's letting her emotions get to everyone. Like how I was saying, we were in lockdown and she fucked off to Australia. Like, or the Christchurch incident, everyone's like, oh, she's done a real good job because blah blah blah. Well, really, like, she kind of hasn't. Like, those people are still dead. They only found one person, and yet this one person hit up 3 different places in the spaces of 15 minutes. Like, I don't think that's possible. Like,
yeah, no, I do understand what you're saying.
Like, it's just weird because, like, even though everyone has their own mindset and thinking, but everyone is still hypnotized to what they believe in. And like I was saying today, like the news and everything, they only tell you what they want you to hear.
Yes,
like, there's a lot of things that we could be like, there could be like a massive war on our hands right now, and we've only heard that it's in Iraq. It could be like in Russia or in space or.
Well, there is also a great deal. Something I actually kind of clicked onto recently. I never really thought about. There is a great portion of the world that we're not connected with because the world is in groups. The world is literally in groups. Like, we've got the Commonwealth, so we've got our side of the world. Yeah. We've got England, Ireland, like all of like UK. And then, like, you know, Japan, Asia, and Australia and us, you know, we're all in that circle, so we get all of each other's news. We, like, you know, we get a lot of American and UK and Australian news as well as our own news here, but we don't get shit that comes from Russia or Korea because
you barely hear about it.
You don't, because we're not part of them. No. And I've only just really kind of come to terms with that we're not, and so there's a lot that goes on in the world that we will never hear about.
It was like when we had the Christchurch earthquake and how we had like countries coming over here to help us and blah blah blah. As soon as Japan had that tsunami, bro, we were one of the first countries to respond, and we were still trying to deal with our shit.
Yep.
Like, a lot of countries didn't even help out with that, and we didn't really get thanked.
No.
Like,
but that is what we've done our whole life, you know.
Yeah.
We are pretty lucky to have been roped into this Commonwealth, considering how small we are in comparison. You know.
Well, yeah, that is true.
They could have very easily have not found us at that time that they did. When James Cook came over here.
We could still be eating people.
Yeah, well, that happened.
Well, yeah, it did.
It did.
Like, I don't know. Like, and I don't think we could live in the world without a government, because then you just
Have anarchy.
Yeah, pretty much, and shit would turn
We
into
resolve to conflict.
apocalypse.
We're too addicted to conflict.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, though, like, when you've got people so fucking stupid to the point they think they can make a new world. And like, when I mean a new world, I mean like there's people out here that think they can recreate the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's happening now.
Yeah, like, how fucking stupid are you? Do you know what happens after you're dead? You ain't coming back. Like,
Yeah.
Do you not realise that? Like,
It was like when they dropped the first atom bomb on Japan, and like the person who hit that button, the person that got told to hit that button, like they didn't know they was going to do that, and it was that one mistake, and they killed hundreds of thousands of people. So many people got wiped out with that, and then like that's just fucking nuts. And all it was is that one idiotic move to go, you know what? Let's test this.
Yeah,
We've split the atom. Let's test what it will do, and they found out pretty damn quick, and it was in a horrific event in history.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the same thing.
But
I understand why they're doing it, and I understand the want to find out, because it's something we don't know, and it could be an opportunity to know more about where we came from. But that's just our natural desire to find and seek knowledge. We've got that as a human species, which is our biggest downfall. As the famous saying is, the curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. Pretty well, yeah. Hello, Corona. But like, oh no, you'd think we'd learn. Like, we've made movies of it and all that kind of crap. You'd think we'd learn. And like, how many of their relatives have passed away? Have they fucking come back yet? No. Like, do you think there's a Big Bang? And it all comes down to like how heaven, earth, fucking hell, all that kind of shit, and then it comes down to DMT, and then how that produces in your body, and then that shows you different figures of like either your time, your past.
Been listening to a lot of Joe Rogan.
A little bit.
Yeah, a lot of Joe Rogan. I got Joey up here, man. I got Joey. I got Joey, Joe, and Duncan.
Hard. I was looking at before. I was wondering who the other fellow was. I was like, hey, he looks familiar, but.
So this was their comedy show back in 2012. So you got Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz, and Duncan Trussell.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Midnight Gospel?
Yeah.
Duncan Trussell
Yeah.
made the Midnight Gospel. Joey Diaz, surely you've heard of Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Two of his closest mates.
True.
So here's one every now and then, but yeah.
Yeah.
But they had the show.
Actual.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's dope.
And he's doing it again this year.
Yeah. Hey, he should have done it last year as well. Technically,
Oh, I don't think he
last
could.
Year, what a fit. Oh, come on, he's a celebrity.
Yeah.
I reckon they would have got something. But yeah, it really just comes down to what we believe in. And
It's perception of the world.
Yeah, and like, I get it. Like, everyone wants to like push it. Everyone wants to push the button in a way. Like, you're not just going to have a big red button there and be like, not push, and you're going to be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to push it. Like, everyone's going to be sitting there like, well, what happens if I push it? And now they sit there after they think, well, what happens? It's like, well, now I want to see what happens, and then
Curiosity.
and then
Gets
it
the better
turns
of
into
you.
fuckery.
Yep.
Like,
But you're not going to know unless you try.
well,
Which is something we're also taught, which
But-
just seems so profound as well.
Yeah, but they always like fucking a builder. Measured twice, cut once.
Yeah, but see, we know what's going to happen when we cut it.
Yeah, we're dead.
But when there's things that we don't know what's going to happen when we cut it,
Exactly.
then we can't measure twice to start with.
No, that's why we shouldn't measure at all.
But then we wouldn't know anything, and we wouldn't have gotten to the point we are now.
If you're unsure, ask someone else.
How are you going to do that? When there's no one else to ask. And that's
That-
why people turn to God, because someone else to ask.
But
Yeah.
no, don't get me started on
No,
that.
let's not go down the religion path right now.
Yeah, no.
People are more than freely allowed to have whatever beliefs they want in life.
Hard, but I'm sorry, but what I see is what I believe.
And that's fair, because you're allowed to for yourself, because you are you.
Yeah.
No one else is you.
Like,
You are you.
I get the whole faith kind of thing. Who is this?
That's Deku from My Hero Academia. That was him
yeah.
when he was like young.
Yeah.
You know, like from a flashback that everyone liked that scene.
True. Like, I get having a religion, it's something to believe in, gives you hope, faith, all that kind of stuff. But like,
yeah, well, a lot of people can't get through the world on their own and in their own head.
no,
And I now understand why a lot of people do turn to religion. A lot of people, especially nowadays, not saying everyone does, but a lot of people turn to religion because it's assurance that there's something greater than them, because them being the greatest to them is too much.
Yeah.
And I can understand that to a degree, because I've had days where I've had longer than days there where I just cannot comprehend myself and can't get through the day just knowing that I'm it for myself,
like
you
low
know?
point.
So you know, it's that bit there where you go, it doesn't matter because there's someone else there that's rubbing my shoulders, got my back, you know. To them anyway, it gives them a bit more peace during the day, at least.
Like what? Like a bit more like how per se, like come home, sit down on the couch, watch some TV, relax. That's their kind of way of relaxing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hard. Nah, that kind of makes it a bigger,
You know?
like a bigger picture for me now, kind of thing, because they can go into situations where we would go into situations and overthink, where they could go into a situation with one mind thinking, well, God's going to have my back.
Yeah, I don't need to overthink this because this person has a bigger plan.
Hard, like,
you know?
whatever happens today,
and it puts their mind at rest.
Yeah.
I can understand that to a degree, because there is days where I'm like, man, I wish there was that person that had a bigger plan, because then I wouldn't have to be here thinking about it to myself, you know? So I can understand that aspect of it, definitely. I can 100% understand that aspect.
I know, but for like praying when there's food, like there's not my nana's religion, my nana's religious, and like every time she came over we'd pray, and I'm sitting there like, I am so hungry right now. I just want to eat, and they're still like putting all the toppings on their food, salt, pepper, sauces, all this kind of shit, and I'm sitting there like, well, I don't have salt and pepper on my food, I don't have sauces, like, can I just eat? And I've still got to wait there for everyone to finish, and then we got to pray, and then it's amen, and then it's like, nah, Dad has to say something, and we're not allowed to touch food, and it's like, are you fucking joking? Like, I'm so hungry right now. Like, yeah, okay, I've probably eaten like 2 bowls of Wheat Bix and like 8 pieces of toast, but I am growing and I am starving. Like, I'm sorry, but...
See, now how I see that situation is I see it as it's an appreciation.
Yeah.
Right? So even though I can, like, the whole actual biblical side of it, I don't understand. But... like, that's not me choosing not to understand, I just genuinely don't understand it. I'd like to understand, but I don't. But...
it's because you went to school.
yeah. But I see it as a form of appreciation, because it is pretty... as much as it's a given these days to always have food, like, it is amazing that we can have food every day that will keep us alive and keep us here. Like, regardless of where it came from or how it came to be, it's a gift. It's a luxury that we unappreciate quite often, and I guess a lot of people do have a toast of food or have, say a prayer to food because they appreciate the fact that it's there in front of them. I can understand it in that aspect, you know. That's how I've been thinking about religion a lot lately, and just trying to see it on with a bit more logic and a bigger scale, going by how the human mind and emotions work.
Well, it's like technically I'm Presbyterian. I think that's what it's called. That's my parents' religion, and it's what my nana's religion as well. They're Presbyterians or whatever. But then, like, not knowing in a way, like, so my nana and like my granddad, like, they were, I think granddad was a fucking priest or something, and like so was my mum's dad, like he was a priest as well and all that, like, so both families like religious as hell. But coming down to like 2 kids in a way that, like, my old man got kicked out at 15, the old lady kind of like left like when she was allowed to leave, kind of thing, whatever. And like growing up in their age, like from looking at my nana and seeing how like so like down to earth with like what she believes in, like doesn't give a fuck about like what people have to say or anything. Wow, like, and then seeing someone like my old man and like the shit that comes out of his mouth, people sit there and be like, oh, I'm scared.
Mm.
I want to run away right now, kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, fuck, it took me years to even have like a friend over just because of my old man. But,
Yeah.
like, from seeing my nana being so religious and then seeing my old man, which is someone that does not give a fuck, like, how does that, like, yeah, okay, there was some points where the old man would stuff up and yeah, okay, they'd get a hiding or tied to the clothesline or whatever, like, yeah, and then you come to our age, like, and what we would have got, like, the belt or hit around the head.
I was
maybe.
never touched. I was never hit as a kid. Yeah,
lucky.
I went through my whole childhood.
Yeah.
I actually said this on podcast recently too.
True.
Yeah. No, I was never touched. I was lucky.
Right.
But
Well, I
no,
used to get the
that
belt.
was our generation.
Yeah.
That definitely was our generation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and then you've got now generation, where they don't even know if they don't even know what they are.
Yeah,
For
the
starters,
new
which-
generation's at the point where my hairdresser was actually explaining it to me. Where you, as a parent, you've got to be real careful because your kids can call the cops on you, and they now know this because social media has made them aware of a lot of things a lot earlier.
But it shouldn't be like this. Like, look how many kids are ungrateful, little shits. Most of them look like they need a hiding, to be honest. Like, I'm happy that I got a hiding, in all honesty. Because
Set you straight.
Yeah, that taught me not to do that again. And if I did do that again, I was going to get another hiding.
Yeah.
Like, was I prepared to take another hiding? Sometimes.
You went into it prepared.
There was some times where I was like, okay, can't do it this way. Let's see if I can get around that way and do it this way. Nah, still get a hiding. But, like, it's life. Like, everyone, you can't just go through life now and be like, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop that.
No.
I don't like that.
Learning comes from consequence.
Exactly.
You eliminate consequences, you're not going to learn anything.
Exactly.
Because you
Like,
can't do wrong.
I learned a lot of my consequences at school from getting beaten up. I had a smart mouth. That was my consequence. I
paid for it.
2 years after having a smart mouth that I should probably shut up now and then. But, like, I had to learn that for myself.
And it was the only way you were going to.
Yeah, exactly. And then you see people that used to be our age. People that, like, we look back as, like, damn, we were that age once kind of thing. We were much little shits like that. And
Yeah.
you sit there and you're like, was I actually a little shit? But at the same time, it's like, nah, because if my dad or my mum told me to fuck up, that I would have went quiet.
Yeah.
Like, technically, back in our age, like, children were seen and not heard. That's the perfect way I can explain it, because I even remember going to mates' place and, like, their parents would be like, fuck up, I'm on the phone or something, and then, boom, quiet. Like, nowadays, they don't shut the fuck up, they don't listen to you, kids don't give a shit, they do whatever they want. If they don't get their own way, well, they'll have a fucking tantrum, or they'll cry, or they'll be a little dick. Like, I'm not going to hit my kid to the point, like, giving him a hiding or anything, but, like, if he does something wrong, fucking hell, I'm going to give him a kick up the ass or a slap on the hand. Like, I'm sorry if that offends everyone else, but that's how I got taught my right and wrong, and I'm not out stealing, I don't have, like, I kind of probably do have a filthy mouth.
We all do nowadays. Nowadays we do.
But it's the language nowadays.
It is.
Like, back in our parents' days, fuck, shit, cunt.
You had to be very polite.
Yeah, like, that
to be very
was swear
polite.
words.
Yeah.
Now it's just English.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah, and, like, nah, I don't know. Like, the world from, like, being where I was born, like, because what, you're 20...
24.
Oh, yeah. So, what, 97, eh?
Yeah, 97.
Yeah. And being 96, like, we've seen a lot of shit in our lifetime. We've seen 9/11. What else have we
I'll list
seen?
some for you.
List some for me.
The turn of the century.
Yeah.
The turn of the millennium. Sorry. We've gone through now a pandemic, obviously.
Yep.
We went through.
Like Saddam Hussein and all that crap.
Yeah, we went through that. We've seen a lot. We've had a lot come about. We've
Trump.
Global warming's now effect. We've watched technology evolve.
Yeah.
When we were born, phones were barely a thing. Phones were only just becoming a thing when we were born. Like, you had flip phones at the time. I got my first phone when I was 10, and it was a flip phone. Oh no, it was one before it. It was just a solid brick phone.
Yeah, like Nokia's.
Yeah. But that's what we had when we were like, well, when I was 10.
I'm pretty sure I
So
still got my old
you go
flip
back to
phone.
when we were born and they weren't really a thing. We've watched the come of technology and look where it's at already.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm running all this off of one computer and
Wow.
a cell phone wirelessly. I'm now running all this off of a cell phone wirelessly.
Yeah.
A screen that I can touch and it does shit.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
operating
much.
all this.
Exactly, and that's what kind of scares me in a way, because like you see all the movies and like how technology like slowly like builds up and starts like procrastinating. Is that the right word?
That's
Feel
putting
like-
things off.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nah, never mind then. I was trying to be smart for a second, but it didn't work. But like iRobot, okay. Obviously, we don't have robots working for us and all that kind of shit. But
Yep.
that shit is possible. Like,
Actually,
and like
it
we're in
is
the making
possible.
of that. We've already
Yeah.
made robots that can like do our laundry or mow the lawns or
Yeah.
fucking like what happens if the movies become true? We got no more jobs because it's cheaper to hire a robot. Like it's cheaper
Yeah.
to fix a robot than fixing a
It
human.
is
like,
definitely something to worry about, but at the same time, how many movies have come true that weren't based on real life? You see all these
Simpsons.
romance movies. Movie romance never happens in real life. That shit never happens. It's very rare occasion that a movie romance will happen. You know,
Yeah.
It-
Yeah,
it-
that is true.
you know, happily ever after barely ever happens. You know, so like,
Used to happen.
well, do we know that?
No, used to happen. Like that's how we have like our parents because like
Yeah,
now it's like everyone has a say and, and everyone's stubborn, so they're like, nah, I want this.
everyone has. You're so telling people on this platform you're using to have a say that we should no longer be able to have a say.
Yep, pretty much. Well, it's like back in the like I look at I know like my parents had like a good relationship. Like yeah, they've had their ups and downs, but they've been together ever since I was born. I'm 25, so and they got married when I was 9. My sister's 31, so and they've been together before that as well. So they've been together. They
Long
were
time.
together 25 years before
Mm.
they got married, even. So
Yep.
like another 25 years onto that, like boom, kind of thing. And like seeing that, and through thick and thin, no matter what the fights are, the arguments or everything, like they've had a bad day, they let each other relax, and then like at the end of the day, they're a team.
Mm.
Like they're best friends. They can sit there talk about random shit. They can sit there and like get hyped or like real amped with a convo just because like they're exposed, both expressing themselves
Yep.
for like different sides,
Hmm.
kind of thing. And seeing that, and it's just like yeah, like you guys cracked it, kind of thing. Like you both work, you both come home,
Yep.
you both clean, you both do cooking, whatever. Like
Yeah, yeah.
The old man had his own business, so mum would come home and cook for him. But like that's just what she wanted to do as a wife.
Mm.
Like that was what she was brought up to do, was cook for her husband, like clean for her husband.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying we still need that because like hey, I like cleaning, I like cooking.
Yeah,
I
I,
don't want someone
I
to do
genuinely
all my
like doing
cleaning.
it. Get
Yeah.
lost in it, start.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. I quite
Yeah.
like it.
And like it kind of gives you like hygiene in a
Mm.
way, like keeps your mind fresh. Like, hey, I'm gonna do my washing, or hey, I'm gonna make my bed.
Well, you
It
get a
gives you,
sense of
like-
accomplishment
Yeah.
afterwards, eh?
Exactly. But nowadays you see like people just jumping into a relationship left, right, fucking centre. You got people saying, "Oh, I love you" after 3 days, or "I miss you," or
And we have the movie industry to thank for that because
Exactly.
all the young people think they have to jump into it from the beginning.
no, yes, but at the same time, I feel like it's because a lot of school does not teach you shit. To be honest,
Not
to me,
life.
nah, not life.
Doesn't teach you life. I did my
Right.
taxes for the first time today,
Yeah,
and I had no idea what I was doing.
yeah.
No idea what I was doing. And it was that moment of, I wish I was taught this in school.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's actually pretty simple. It's online,
Exactly.
and it ran me through it pretty quick. I had it done in like 30 minutes. But regardless, I feel like something like that needs to be taught at school. We
Yeah.
need, like, at a decent age, obviously, but right before we need to know.
Even
shit
in a
like that.
relationship,
Yeah.
being taught how to just okay, like you can't be taught how to be in a relationship because obviously every relationship you're gonna have is different.
We
Like,
need someone that studies and knows about human emotion
Mm.
that can teach people about how to use it
yeah,
and how
pretty
to deal with it
Yeah.
in different ways and when necessary, because that's something that we're definitely not taught. We're taught that at the very beginning, at the very, very, very beginning.
Yeah.
We're taught you be kind and make this person happy by doing this for them.
Yeah.
You make that person sad when you do this. I mean, you learn the basic concepts of emotion
Yeah.
back before we're 5 years old, but then after that, you're on your own when it comes to it. You
Yeah.
eventually learn that you get in the shit when you do this, and it comes down to yourself. And like I'm still trying to work it out myself. I've got a great picture on it, but I know I've got a lot greater picture than a lot of other people. And I know a lot of other people that are older than me that have no idea how to use emotion.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's something that we're not taught.
And
Just stuff like that.
Hard. And you'd think school, you're there for what, 18 years of your life? Nah, 16 years, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, or 15.
15, 16. Yeah. Unless you go to uni.
Hard. Well,
got more.
But pretty much normal schooling is 15, 16 years. And out of that 15, 16 years, does that teach you how to hold down a job? Or even get a job?
No.
Just shows you how to do CV. Really. It doesn't, they don't teach you what to say or anything. Does that teach you, okay, yeah, some on cooking. I took cooking, so that taught me to cook a little bit.
Yeah.
But, hey, I'm not, I don't know how to make pasta. Everyone says, what do you mean? It's just mince and pasta. I'm like, yeah, and cool, that sounds easy. Put me to the test and I'll probably still be there 2 hours later. I'm fucked up.
Yeah, that was something I thought as well, actually. I thought recently that, well, not recently, I thought about it back when I was a chef. There's just so much stuff to do with food. I realised when we left school, the amount of people that don't know anything about food, don't know how to keep it safe, or what is safe food,
to even cook
and how to utilize the food, and how to utilize it for your own well-being and for what your body needs. Because what you eat, they do say what you are what you eat, right? It's literally it. All right, it doesn't just change how if your body is physically, but it affects your mind, it affects you mentally, and a lot of the times when we're feeling down is because of our diet. We're eating shit food, and in turn, there's obviously a lot of other aspects that can, but a lot of the time it's to do with our diet. A lot of the time is a good. It's how we start to fall into that trap anyway. We start getting down because the body's not getting what it needs.
Exactly, and that's what school should be teaching you.
It should be.
School should be there for life. School's there to help you read, write, and spell kind of thing. But it's only to a point. Pretty much once you get into intermediate and high school, you do fuck all spelling. You do fuck all, you do more reading and writing.
I learnt more socially at school. I learnt more about social aspects of people at school than I did about anything theoretical.
Yeah, I know, but school, I know, school has just kind of not been school. You look at school when you learn something. I went to the class 2 trucking school place, and I actually learned how to be a truck driver.
But it's because you're at the age now where you want to learn, right?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, they shouldn't just chuck shit in school. I remember writing a book about what's that movie with Morgan Freeman and he goes into the prison? Shawshank or something?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I'll
bring it up. Keep talking.
We had to do a movie, and our themes were colour, sound, background, fucking some of the shit they said, the placing, time. We had to write about all that. It's just who gives a fuck about all that? You just want the main picture. When you're reviewing a movie or whatever, you're only going to talk about what happened in the movie. You're not going to be oh yeah, in this part of section blah 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 on series blah 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 on clip 189 there was a bit of blue in the sky for 2 seconds kind of thing. Why do we we it helped us with vocabulary in a way and with our writing and creativeness, but who the fuck cares? I learned nothing out of that.
No. Something I said to someone recently is that I only now have a want to learn about life aspects or anything that I actually need in life. And when I was at school, I had no desire to learn anything. I didn't. I went to every class, did absolutely nothing, brought up my laptops and played games. And the teachers every time would get mad, and it got to the point where they didn't get mad because they just stopped caring. And so I never learned English, never learned math. Well, I learned basics, but college, I ditched it all. I learned up until year 10, learned everything I needed to as the basics, and then knew after that it was going to be useless to me. And so I didn't learn anything more than that. And it's only now that I have a want to learn. Right? So I have this theory where there's a certain part of schooling that's been taught at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like the basics at the very beginning, I think it's a good age for the basics that you're getting. The stuff that they're trying to teach you at high school should be taught a little bit later on. Instead of
if you want to take that step.
yeah. Instead of learning it in like your late teens, learn it in your mid-20s, early to mid-20s. I think at that point, I'm at a point now where I can understand a bit better. I can understand this shit a bit more. And back then, I had no idea and didn't give a fuck.
But at the same time, though, could you think you want to learn now is because you're doing it all by yourself? You have to do everything for yourself now. But back then, you didn't have to didn't have to do anything because
I could fall into the trap of sitting at my desk all day playing games. Exactly. It didn't matter.
Like if you had all the money in the world, kind of thing, or like you didn't have to worry about any responsibilities or nothing. Like you'd happily sit at your desk and play video games.
Yeah, to a degree.
Well,
because like for me personally, because I get bored, so I do a lot of learning in my free time, just to fill in time and because I enjoy it. So I've learned a lot in the past 2 years.
I'm not that enthused to. I'm gonna go learn something. I'm like, I might go game.
For how my mind works, I learn by just seeing. Yeah. So like I've worked out how things work just in society, just basic things like my partners quite often ask me questions about like, oh, do you know how like they would do that? Like to see a tradie doing something on the side of the road, how would they do that? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they do it like this. And I've already thought of a full analysis of theoretically how it would work on a good estimated guess, educated guess, sorry. And like I've worked out, I've had that desire to want to work things out and learn from that. You know, I can't look something up and read it and then take it to learn it. But I like working it out. And then that, I guess, brings back to a conversation earlier on why we're trying to recreate the Big Bang. We have a want to work things out, right? Yeah. Well, there's things out there that have been worked out, and I could just Google. Yeah. But I would much prefer to work them out myself.
But then that comes down to, like, the person you are.
Exactly. So for me, I would be like that. But as you said, for you, you could just sit and game all day. Yeah. Like, easy.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, school wasn't for me. Like, I dropped out at 15. Went to a job straight away. Like my teacher told me I was going to be a bum. Next week I showed her my 4-figure paycheck and I was like, and you think I'm going to be a bum? Yeah. And the first thing she said was, you get paid more than I do. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that's my first week.
Yeah.
Like,
bro,
good job.
I remember back in school and when we were like 14, we had a real rowdy class that just didn't want to learn. So the teacher didn't teach us, and we had this one girl that really wanted to learn, and she stood up in front of the whole class and yelled at us all and told us that all of us were going to go nowhere, we were all going to be just useless and not have good jobs, and she was going to be the only person that was going to be successful out of all of us. And she now works at Takeaways and has since we left school and has 2 kids. Like, I hope she's doing well, but at the same time, you know?
Oh, hell yeah, hard.
Shows how useless school was. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Like, shit like that just shows you how useless school is. Like, people can go through their whole life getting, like, straight A's and everything. Yeah, when it comes to life, nah, they suck at it. Like, and I guess it's unfair in a way, because there's a lot of people that can deal with it, like me and you, where a lot of people couldn't deal with it, in a way. Like, how, I'm not a bum, but, like, I'm broke a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
going through a rough patch.
Yeah, but like money doesn't bother me. Like I can happily go weeks without money. Well, not weeks. I love a good paycheck.
Yeah. Weeks without having that extra.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can happily live on what I can afford and pay by and like pay my bills, pay whatever, and left $20. Like, oh wow, like everything is still paid. Like yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that as soon as everything is paid and they've got no money left, boom, freak straight away, like non-stop, like start freaking out, need to go do something or want something. Or
I know a few people like that.
And that gets them into the tent of like stealing or doing drugs or whatever else kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not always about doing drugs and everything. Like, there's people out there that have never done drugs and steal and shit in their life, but like it just.
But yeah, it's easy for people to fall into that when they don't have that extra.
Exactly, and it's even easier when you've got that person being like, oh yeah, just try a little bit of this, bro. It'll calm you down, fucking right.
Yeah.
Boom, 3 months later, you're fucking in a meth house, cracked out with like 18 fucking spiders that you think are running up and down your arms. Like,
But balling in more cash because you've worked out that you can sell that and make a lot more, so you're falling into that trap.
If you're smart with it, though. If you're not smart, you're just one of the methods there for your daily dose.
Your daily dose.
Yeah.
I like it. That movie was Shawshank Redemption, by the way.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so we had to do a book report on that, and one of the we had to do it on themes, so like how they directed it, how the movie got shot, camera angles, lighting.
Yeah, actually,
audience,
I remember now. I remember doing the same thing. This was a good movie.
It was. I've watched
Outside
that
of having
movie
to learn
heaps.
stuff, it was a good movie.
Yeah, and they look old as shit now. Damn.
Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Hey,
What a bloke.
hard, and he's aged well.
He still looks good.
Yeah.
He still looks like Morgan Freeman.
Like, he was quite old in Shawshank. And, like, yeah, he's aged real well.
Mm.
That fella, on the
When
other
did this
hand,
come out?
has not aged that well. Morgan Freeman has aged a lot more.
1994.
True.
Good movie though.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good movie.
But, like, see, like that does not show me life. I'm not going to go through life going, oh, yeah, I need to think about the colours in the sky and the angle that I'm looking at right now, and what's my next move going to be, and how am I going to put that to a theme. Like, you'll never fucking use that in your life unless you're a story writer.
Yeah, or some sort of creator, you know. But yeah, you know back then you're not going to get into that. You don't have a passion for it back then at all.
Like I said, I dropped out at 15. Like, school wasn't for me. Like, unfortunately, I'm dyslexic, so school just wasn't for me, and I was struggling with reading as well and writing. So, like, that didn't help from intermediate wise, because being from Invercargill and going and teachers thinking I'm just being a class clown, so I'd be in detention each day. So I didn't really learn much going through intermediate, because they just thought I was being a dick. Where I'm coming home, no friends, crying, like, I want to change school kind of thing. Like, if I didn't get moved out of my first intermediate and then got chucked into a little school called IYKYK, like, yeah, I would have had back 2 years. It was because of the principal at IYKYK had like a little program for like people like me, and he took us out of our classroom and like sat down with us, made us like pull like, especially with me, like with being like having everything, and with like numbers, like with being dyslexic, numbers, words can mix around, change and everything. He taught me a way to, if it changes, I can bring it back, like pull it back in a way to like get enough. It's like how you'd read if you have like the first letter and the last letter of a word at the same, so like hood as fuck, to be like hood as fuck, so you had H and F, but all these were mixed around, you'd still be able to read it.
Yeah, you better work it out.
Yeah, so he'd help me. He like,
that's awesome that he did that.
Yeah, so that hence how I can like read like not too bad, and I don't get frustrated. Like, I'd chuck a book, I'd burn it, to be honest. Like, I've only read one book in my life.
Same. Actually, I've only ever read one.
But
I can't read.
Yeah, neither.
I can read enough that I need to.
Yeah.
But I can't read for my entertainment.
Yeah. I don't read for entertainment.
Yeah.
But yeah, by having that someone there, and to be like, hey, well, school's not for him, I've got to take myself out for a second to figure out what's going on with him, then from him figure out what I can do and put it in a word and a place to bring it back to him, kind of thing, was heaps. Like, yeah, like I said, if I didn't go to Kairinga, like, I would have got held back 2 years and I wouldn't be able to go to high school. But yeah, because of that teacher being like, hey, look, well, I want to change this, like, I want to give this kid a better future, like, that's what we need, not fucking, like, he got me to a point where I could go to high school, that I could read proper, like, read, spell, write good enough that I could be at high school, kind of thing. And like, so technically to me, he did his job. He taught me what I needed to know to make me level up in a way. And then fucking intermediate. High school just kind of throws you off track. You've got like integrated studies, and then you've got science and everything, and like, everyone thinks about science as blowing shit up. Science is not about blowing shit up. So to anyone that is watching and you think science is about blowing shit up, it is not. It's more paperwork than anything, and it's fucking annoying.
Don't take science if you just want to blow shit up, but don't go that way.
Don't take chemistry either, because you barely get to blow shit up.
Yeah, I think I got to burn like magnesium once and it sparkled, and like that was about as exciting as it got.
Yeah, I took chemistry thinking we'd blow shit up. No, that was the most boringest year of my life. But like, yeah, from going to learning something and going from that level and then coming to high school and being like, you gotta learn this, you gotta learn this, you gotta learn this. You don't use any of it in the real world. Like is it Pythagoras?
Pythagoras theorem?
Yeah. When do you ever use that in life?
I've never had to use it personally.
No, I can't even remember it. But
No. I can't remember how, because I never learned it fully, so I can't remember how it works. I can't remember if it's integrated into a lot of things, so we could have used it without realising it. Like,
Yeah.
it could just be a part of physics, but I'm unsure on that.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, just I don't know. School
Stuff
never,
like that.
Yeah, shit like the unimportant shit that we didn't read, like writing a book review on a movie or whatever. Like that's okay. If you want to do writing, that should have been something that you went to UCO or Massey or whatever for.
Yeah.
That's where you should be doing that shit. High school should be the last step of like, all right, you're either going to go somewhere or you're going to get into it. Like you're going to go to Massey or whatever, or you're going to get a job, or what are you going to do kind of thing. High school should be like, all right, I need to figure out my life.
Yeah, it needs to make you more aware of life itself.
Yeah.
And high school needs to be well more aware of life itself, and then after that we can make our decisions on where we go and what we need to achieve that.
Pretty much. And yet, but now, we can't even do that.
I guess thinking about it now, that's kind of what I did, because I left myself to myself at school. I had friends and had groups and stuff, but like I didn't, as I said, I didn't learn in school,
Yeah.
and I learned more socially because I spent the time studying the human race, just visually,
Yeah.
and within my interactions. And so I guess essentially I learned a bit of life, not as much as I think I could have done with, but I did learn a bit more of life than I did learn on the theory side of things and actual shit they do teach.
Yeah.
So I guess technically I did live that kind of life that we're describing, which I guess is why it's got me to this point of being able to understand humans a bit better and understand how we work a bit more and understand how emotion works a bit more,
Yeah.
which has definitely helped me get my way through life till
Yeah.
now.
Right. And
So
it,
I guess
gives
if-
you a bigger picture.
Yeah, that's almost proof itself that it works to a degree. I may not be successful, but
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And I did have a dream of what I wanted to be. I did want to be a chef, and I made that happen.
Yeah.
I'm a fully qualified chef, I made that happen, but then just found it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of spiraled out of that, but I guess it worked in theory. I chose what I wanted to do after school. It wasn't until my last year of school that I got into really cooking, and I took the whole year. I didn't do year 13. I did a cooking course. It was a WellTech course that was done at my school.
Yeah.
Only went for a year. We made food and served food in the school cafeteria, but it was proper food, and we learnt really well. I had a really good teacher. Yeah, I loved him to bits. He was such a good guy.
What do you mean proper food?
Well, it's not like school cafeteria food. We didn't just buy in pies. We made them, or
Like made the pies.
yeah. Like we would sell like chicken kebabs on rice that was like beautiful. We would sell pulled pork buns and shit like that. We sold proper food that you would get in cafes. It was pretty much cafe, legitimately. We had a barista. We had a proper barista coffee machine, $25,000. Yeah, we got taken to Mojo in town and got taught how to make coffee. I've got my barista training, so I got my barista qualifications from that. I got my level 1, 2, and 3 cookery from that.
Yeah.
And we also got business and retail level 1, 2, and 3.
Joe.
So I didn't do anything throughout my entire life at school until that year.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of year 12 getting sat down with the principal and him saying, look, you've got no credits. Like, you've got no level 1, no level 2. You're not going to pass level 3. You're going to have nothing when you leave here. I didn't actually care. I said to him, cool.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to continue on doing what I'm doing because I don't want to do this.
Same.
And
Now look at you.
yeah, well, in that last year, that barista, the cooking, and the business and retail got me level 1, 2, and 3 completely, plus fully qualified chef, plus barista, and the business. So I've got all of that
Hard. Yeah.
because of that 1 year.
Yeah.
So like, what we're explaining should happen in school, I kind of went through, I guess, without realizing it, on a very smaller scale because it wasn't enforced.
Yeah.
And I guess it worked.
Yeah.
I just fell out of being a chef because I didn't like the environment whatsoever. But
Well, then that just comes back to, like, you want to be in a job that you feel comfortable with and
Yes.
being happy in.
Yeah, and actually want to be in.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't know. Like, you would think they'd come to, like, more of, like, okay, we should probably stop teaching this shit. Like, we're really doing nothing. Like,
Be a small portion of people be doing something for.
Like, and it's not hard to be a teacher and be like, all right, these ones don't want to learn, these ones want to learn, these ones are wanting to learn but they're struggling, and these ones are not wanting to learn, kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Like, every teacher can, like, look at a student and be like, all right, you want to be here, you don't want to be here, you want to be here, you don't want to be here, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
it all goes off from, like, the vibe that you bring and everything. And
But then they'll have to look into every student in depthly.
wow, yeah.
I guess this kind of stems
But
even
then
further back. Like, you've got this idea which would make the school system a better place and better suited for different kinds of students, which would be great. But that means we'd have to have different kinds of teaching. We'd have to have different kinds of people in to
Well, we
be able
already
to do
do.
that. We would need more to be able to go through every student individually, work that out, and it would take. No, wouldn't be able to do it on the spot. You'd have to do it over time, right? So there'd be more resources. I guess then it would take it. That you'd need more money to do that.
Yeah.
Already, our school teachers aren't getting paid anywhere near enough.
No.
It's shocking. I used to
Well,
live with a school
they
teacher,
strike
and
for a
she,
reason.
yeah, like they struggle. They really struggle, and they put in a lot of effort. Like I lived with a teacher that taught 7 and 8 year olds, or 6, 7, 8 year olds, and she would always say, like, tell me all the stuff that she did, the amount of effort she had to go to outside of work hours, the amount of stuff she had to do. Like, it's a 24/7 job.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. They just don't get enough money. So obviously there's already not enough money for it. Takes us back to the government getting more money. They need more money to be able to do this, to be able to enforce this sort of thing.
Yep.
So it's just, there's no fixing it.
But do you see the pattern? At the end of the day, everything goes back to the government.
Yeah, everything goes back to money.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to money and how it's all run
Yeah,
and distributed.
exactly.
It's
And it shouldn't have to be like that.
it's so hard. It's such a hard thing to try and fix now. We're in too deep. We
Yeah.
fucked it up from the start, and it's
Well,
now so
yeah.
hard to turn it right.
Yeah. Because there's so much new to offer the world, like speakers, fucking computers,
This is insane.
technology,
I've set
like-
this up in the back of my garage, you know?
like, and seeing this, and like, back when we were born, we wouldn't see shit like this.
This was not around.
No,
We had the
have
PlayStation
big-ass
1.
cameras and and the Segas and all that.
Yeah,
kind
you
of
wanted a
shit.
voice, you had to be like famous and on TV or on the news for something.
Yeah,
you
pretty
know?
much. And like now, I wouldn't say anyone could have a voice.
But everyone does.
Anyway,
Jump on
but
Twitter.
Yeah, everyone does.
Go have a scroll through Twitter. Everyone's got a voice on Twitter.
I don't even know what Twitter is.
Oh man, like Twitter's not big in this country. Twitter's real tiny. We've got Facebook. Facebook's our big social media app. Facebook's tiny, like everywhere else in the world.
I feel like Instagram's more bigger than Facebook, to be honest.
Well, they're the same company now.
Are they?
Yeah, you can message Messenger from Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
right.
it's all
Yeah.
connected now. So like that's our in this country the leading social media app. Everywhere else in the world it's Twitter. Like Twitter's huge,
Yeah.
and there's just everybody that's on Twitter has a voice, and meaning that they abuse the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
We have going through a phase right now where it's called the Twitter wars, and it's how our good friend that likes to comment on like everything on the Facebooks, some real conflicting comments about his opinions because he's a very opinionated person at times.
Starts with a K.
No, not that one.
No. C.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like that on Twitter.
True.
Everyone's like that on Twitter. No one backs down.
I'd love to punch a lot of people in.
It doesn't make sense, you know.
No.
Like I understand why he does it. He gets entertainment out of it. Good on him. Fair enough. He's allowed to, right?
Yeah.
And that's what everyone
It's
does.
quite handy him getting blocked now and then because it means he doesn't have to fucking message me. Even though he's barely talking to me since.
Don't say too much.
But yeah, pretty much. I don't know.
Yes, he
Like,
listens.
yeah, I just thought about that then. Oh well. Hi. But yeah, I don't know. Like, if we have something, well, we do. We've got, like you said, Facebook and Instagram, and even then, like, look how big Snapchat's getting. To the point of that, and like, yeah, okay, everyone does have a say, but to a point. In this country, to a point, like not every other country, because like,
In this country, no,
look
we
at-
don't quite have a big enough voice.
yeah, because like look at C, every time you say something, ban.
Mm.
So
Yeah, we've got very strict rules on our social media.
yeah,
They've
exactly.
implemented a lot.
We're over there. They don't.
No.
They can say whatever they want, and people just get butthurt and scream like thousands of comments at them. Like that's all they get.
Yeah.
Like over here, like
Yeah.
we can even have police go on to our social media just to find out how bad that is.
Well, that's it. And that's why people will have to be careful on this, because the exact same thing can happen.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
and
that's a
then
good point.
and that's it.
That is a good point. But yeah, like I don't know, like if you could change the world, like one thing, what would you change?
This is a big question.
Like from what we've talked about, like
This is a big question. I wouldn't know how to do it, I wouldn't know how it would be done.
Yeah.
But I would want currency to change. We can't go without currency.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be the currency it currently is. I feel like it could work a lot better a different way. I'm just unsure of how that way would be.
like with it, like getting up kind of thing, and everything else going up. Or
Currency's a weird aspect. Yeah, it's something that's really affected us mentally.
Yeah.
And it's horrible to see on some people. Some people it looks really bad on, and they are very unaware of it, and it baffles me because it is nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Currency, it has no value. We just think it does because we've been told it does.
Yeah.
And how it's distributed very poorly, and how it's then used is also used very poorly, and how it's governed is governed very strictly. And I feel that is not the right way to do it as it is.
Yeah.
It causes a lot of problems, and it's still, as every day goes on, getting worse.
Well, as you see, every day it does get worse.
Mm.
Yeah, no.
But like I say, I've theorized this with a lot of people
Yeah.
over the past few years. I theorized it with a couple where we actually got out a whiteboard and brainstormed our own idea of currency, and it has been tried to be recreated. Look at Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency's internet currency, technically. So the dollar's the same value no matter what. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin no matter where you go.
Yeah.
It doesn't raise, so they tried to do something there, but it didn't get that big, and they didn't do too well at it.
No, but even then, Bitcoin goes off.
It does now. It's getting there.
Yeah.
But it's taken them quite a few years now. It came out quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
So like it has just been a matter of time for it to learn and evolve. So
I don't know, like
something like that needs to happen.
Yeah.
If I could change one thing, I'd change that, but I wouldn't know how.
Oh yeah. Fair enough.
Yourself?
Myself.
Mm.
I don't actually know. I don't really care about the world that much to actually want to change it.
Yeah, that's it. If you want to change it, you also have to care about it.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, freaking like technology, to be honest.
You change that in what way?
I know it's kind of hard because like to change technology, we wouldn't have what we had today, in a way, or we'd have more. Or
And we have some amazing things.
yeah, exactly. But what was your childhood? Were you sitting in front of a screen all day, talking to friends online?
My childhood was weird because it was split between two different families,
Yeah.
and the two different families lived in two different scenarios.
Well, like like with your friends and all that. Would you be like outside playing?
That's what I mean. So at one side of my life, at one parent's, I would have that,
Yeah.
and I would be outside with them playing around, and at the others, I was very excluded from the world.
Yeah.
So I was just solo by myself. So I spent a lot of time either outside. At a young age, I was outside by myself
Yeah.
until the idea of imagination being a stupid stigma as you grew up wore in, and I ended up spending a lot of time inside on a computer, started learning a lot of technical shit, and got into technology at quite a young age because of that. But I didn't have access to internet, cell phone coverage, didn't even have a home phone.
Yeah.
Like, we were very excluded from the world, no neighbours. We had power and we had Sky TV. And then that was it. So,
Yeah.
like, half my life I spent very secluded from the world,
Yeah.
and half my life I spent outside at my mum's. We lived in Twitch Park.
Yeah.
So, I spent a lot of time, like, the neighbours there, and sometimes had mates around.
Yeah.
And then when I was out the Yakas, I didn't. So,
But like nowadays,
it's completely different.
yeah, like you still got those kids that are outside.
Yeah, well, I've got a sibling that's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So they've just hit their teenage years now. So it's very interesting to watch that unfold
Yeah.
and compare it to my childhood,
Yeah.
which was only 10 years ago.
Fuck, don't say that.
Well, like, they've only just become a teenager. Well, they're in their early teens.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago for me, I was early teens, and yeah, comparing it now, it's very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
But
And yes, it is because of technology.
yeah,
That's the big key difference.
Well, it's like my 3-year-old nephew knows how to work YouTube.
Mm.
I didn't even know how to work YouTube at that year. Like
At 3 years old, that's it.
no, like if I had kids, they'd be going outside to play. Like, yeah, okay, if it's a rainy day, you can stay inside, watch TV or something, but you're not chilling on a phone your whole day.
Mm.
Like, you'll barely get to touch a phone until you're old enough to actually have a phone, kind of thing. Like, I don't want my kid being glued to a screen or a phone for, like, that whole day. I'd rather him, like, look at it or, like, watch TV for a little bit and then go do something, like,
Yeah.
go play with your cars or just go make a fort or something. Like, keep your imagination alive.
Yeah, because it dies off.
Yeah,
It dies off. Imagination does die off. Well,
exactly.
because of that stigma I was talking about, right? We grow
Yeah.
up and it seems stupid to imaginate shit. But,
well, like, yeah, everyone has their own life, everyone lives on, blah, 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 blah.
but
all
yes,
that kind of
the
shit.
longer you can keep that imagination alive, then the longer you can be a kid,
Exactly.
the better. I wish I was a kid for a lot
And,
longer than
like,
I have been.
Yeah, and it's like, I know, from someone like Kiri per se, he finds it hard to like make friends, talk
Yeah.
to people, just because he's been that computer person kind of thing. Didn't have really much people in his life, and then there's people like me in a way where,
You're socially interactive.
yeah, and I can have that like imagination kind of thing to come down on your level, go up on your level kind of thing.
Yeah.
To match your energy in
Yes,
a way.
yes,
like,
there's
not-
something that some people don't have.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. A lot of people sit there and don't know how to talk or even hold a conversation because of
This
I've
this
just
this is
talk
the only
shit
way they
on
know
the
how to
screen.
talk.
Well, yeah, on a phone or a computer.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why I like this, because we're having a legitimate conversation. You're right there, and I'm right here. We're having an actual conversation. You know, proper talking, proper conversation, and we're getting it through to people that are on this.
Yeah.
So stop watching and start living,
hard.
but also keep watching.
Well, yeah. Stop watching. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, please don't stop. We don't have many views. That one viewer out there, man, I live for you.
Hard. Much love. Peace and love. But, nah, like, I don't know. Like, the world's fucked, but it's not. But it's how we look at it.
We say it's fucked though, but what are we comparing it to? Because we don't have anything to compare our world to and how our society is. We've only had one shot and we've done it once. It may not be fucked, it's just where it's at. It's just a matter of if we can make it a bit better for ourselves in the future.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
Which is why we try to work towards that, I guess.
I don't know, like, what, they say, you pretty much work 60% or 70% of your life, technically.
Yep. I once worked out how many days we actually have in our life where we don't work, and it was a very, very low number.
Yeah, so my...
Calculator's a dangerous thing, don't calculate that sort of shit.
I don't use a calculator, it's fun. That technology is too old for me.
It's very, very easy to work out how many weekends in a year, and then multiply that by the time that you're working, and then multiply the amount of day, or then add on the amount of days that you didn't work, and the amount of days you didn't work in retirement, and
just sit
you
there
get a
crying.
number of how many days where you're not working in your life, and it's not a very high number. Not a very high number at all.
Like, yeah, my old flatmate Josh, like, he used to be like that. Lived on the Benny. Like, always like, why waste most of my life working? And, like, I don't bother about money. Like, money doesn't care to me. Like, I live my life how I want to live it. Well, now he's got like a full-time contract with like some forestering job, and he's going like up and up and up in the forestry world and all that kind of shit. And like he sits there now and be like, well, I started wanting things in life. I wanted to go further. I didn't want to just stay at home or smoke weed or just play video games or...
Decided he wanted to take his life somewhere.
Yeah, like he was sick of just being at home all day, going to his job at night time, being there for like 3-4 hours and then still being on a benefit as well. Like that was mean for him for like a good 3 years, pretty much. And from being 3 years of like a nighttime job, which were only a couple shifts of the night, kind of, a couple hours a night kind of thing, to something that's like 60 or 70 hour weeks. And like he's just getting certificate after certificate, and he's going like, he was probably like as thin as you too, and now he's probably like a bit bigger than me, like
True.
a little bit taller than Tommy, or a little bit smaller than Tommy kind of thing. But yeah, and he'd be like lanky as, play video games, smoke weed, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And doesn't smoke weed anymore. Like he's been off it straight for a year just because of this job and everything. Because he just couldn't be like trying to fluke a test and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
As we do. And yeah, he's actually like being able to go with like his partner, like when she'll go up to like Taupo or something, he can actually like go with her now because she's not paying for him. He never used to go because she would always offer, but he'd be like, "No, you'd have to pay for me, and I don't want that."
Yeah.
So like he'd never be able to pay for anything. As now he can pay for everything himself, and it's just like, well, nah, I actually want to have a full-time job now. Like I want to go somewhere in life.
Yeah.
Like, and it all comes down to motivation. It doesn't all come down to motivation. It does.
No, you need to give yourself a reason.
Well, yeah, hard.
A reason to motivate yourself. A reason to do it. That's why I'm motivated to do this, because I like this concept. I like this concept of podcasting. I think that's such a brilliant idea.
Yeah, but then you've got people that can bring you down. So like, hence me. Skids make me do motivating things. I like skidding, and that makes me pretty motivated. But there's people that are motivated out there to stop me.
Yes, yes, and it's the same with everything. There's always people out there that don't. There's people out there that don't like seeing other people do better than them.
No.
Right, no matter what the aspect is, like if someone else that's jealous of you doing better skids than them per se, and so they think the best option, instead of working on themselves and working on themselves to do better to get to that point or higher, the better option is to per se dog on you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's the same with this, as it could get to the point where there's people that want to silence some things that are said and disagree with it or think it's above them and try to make a thing out of it. There's always people against.
It's like how we were talking just before, like, technically we have to be careful on like aspects of our life, on what we say and everything, because we don't know who's listening or whatever, and it can be taken in the wrong way.
Yep. It can be taken the wrong way. A lot of things get taken out of context too often, and that's something that needs to be stopped.
The thing that annoys me though is that, like, that night that I lost fucking the crown and the license.
Yeah. Well, that's happened, so you can talk about that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They can't do you again.
Well, they could. They probably could, but they got to catch me. But like the dumb thing was, like, every time I've seen someone get like pulled up at the drags or whatever, like, and cops come down, everyone goes over there, everyone makes a big ass scene, cops leave, cunt gets away.
Yeah.
Where was that for me? Like, I had 4 like random 12s walk down, just like, and I'm meaning like you get to like the end of Turners where the skid pad is, or the skid bowl, and then like you walk down there more. Like walk down the road more. So like maybe like a good 10-minute walk to actually like get from where you skid at Turners all the way down there. And they're literally walking there. They get there and I'm sitting there like, who the fuck are these people? I don't even know these people. And I like stood there for a little bit and then they turned around and I was like, yeah, good fucking job. Now you gotta walk back. Fuck retard. Like, why? If you ain't gonna bring heaps of people down here, don't bother walking down here. Like, if you want to get me out of trouble, bring heaps of people. Don't bring like 5 12s. But like, it just annoys me that it comes down to like being in the right place at the right time. or wrong place in the wrong time. Like,
Well, when you're doing something illegal, it's definitely the case.
whoa. Yeah, okay, it is illegal. Like, but like, how long has it been going on for?
Yes, because people want to do it, but it's still illegal.
Exactly. Like before we were born, probably before our parents were born.
Street hooning actually only started like in the 90s.
I thought it was 60s.
Nah, not like what we've got now.
True.
That sort of thing only happened like fairly recently.
Yeah.
Like Melling Infamous is one of the biggest Wellington crews to like ever happen.
True.
No, they're like 10, 11 years old now.
Yeah.
Well and truly out of the scene and gone. But like that's OG time.
Yeah.
That when people talk about the old days, it's not all that long ago. It was like 15, 20 years ago.
Cause see, like I talked to like my old man, and like he used to be exactly like us. All his friends used to be like us, kind of thing. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, there probably has been more in our time,
Yeah.
or like before our time, but it hasn't been like you haven't heard anything about it until like the 90s maybe.
Yeah.
But like, you've got people like me who like to skid or go out on a Friday night or whatever to the drags or whatever and like put on a show. But like we were saying today, drags was to put on a show.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You go there to show what you've got. You don't go there to fucking stand around with the finger up your ass and talk shit for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like back in Palmy, drags wasn't even drags. Like, drags was exactly drags.
Mm.
No skids, just drags.
Yeah, it's completely changed now.
Yeah, Saturday night, go to like someone's house or go to town, and then Sunday skids. Like, Palmy kind of still does that, but barely, just because like we're getting cracked down quite a lot now, and the cops are enforcing it, and it is coming down to the financial year, so a lot of
Yeah, a lot more people are being done.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, it goes a bit unfair when you've got like. You've had all these generations doing it, in a way. Like, and then all of a sudden, 90s, I'm guessing that's when they probably put the law in, or 80s, or...
Yeah, I think they put the law in a long time ago because there was definitely individuals that would do it, or got small groups. But, like the 90s is kind of when the bigger groups started.
Yeah, and like, you've got all those people that think that, nah, you shouldn't be allowed to do it, rah-de-rah-de-rah. So then you... do it properly, you get a location that's no one's around, put down a skid pad, you host events that are in reasonable times, so like between like 4 and 8 o'clock, or 4 and 9 o'clock, like 9 o'clock at night is still a reasonable time, like, kind of thing to stop, and you still get people wanting to shut that down. Like, for a lot of people don't realise is if we had a place to go, we wouldn't rip the street up so much. A lot of people need to realise that if they just came down and actually talked to us like the people we are, instead of treating us like a pack of fucking monkeys, like, shit maybe would change. But then it comes down to that bag head. You like I was saying today also, like, how many fundraisers have we done?
Yeah, we've done quite a few.
All of a sudden, that one bad egg has just wiped all those fundraisers out the window.
Exactly, because the bad outweighs the good.
Yeah, like look at the roller incident. The amount of people that were like, "Yeah, good job, fuck boy races, rah-de-rah-de-rah," and it's just like
that was
no
someone
one
else
touched his shit. Like so when he got on name suppression, he told the police that we were stealing diesel. Someone was stealing diesel. The reason why he got off name suppression was because he told the courts that someone was trying to steal tools. So he fucked up his story. But yeah, he still got let off it. I didn't even think he got charged in the end.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't...
I can't remember what came of it. He's actually quite a dangerous man, to be honest. I've heard a lot about him. He's actually from my parents' generation. And then, yeah, one of my parents knows the guy from way back, and was when I told him about it and told him the guy's name, they were like, yeah, no, don't fuck with him. So yeah,
he took a lot of punches, that's for sure. I got two in and he still didn't go down, so fucking... Oh, wow.
That was crazy.
That was crazy, like... I swear he was miffed out.
Now, sorry to interrupt, but your camera's died. We've
Oh,
been doing this
actual.
for quite some time. I haven't had the camera die yet
True.
because it's been hour and a half now.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. I was gonna hit you up. Like,
been a
have,
while.
have we been talking ages? Like, I feel like half an hour.
Yeah. I've just put a little bit of charge in this, so I just thought I would see if I can get it
okay.
going just for a bit of an end.
Yeah, hard, fair enough. Oh, well, I might shut my mouth then.
No, we can keep talking for hours, my friend, but
Hard.
we will do this more and more, and we'll have you back on more and more for sure.
Yeah, hard.
All right, there we go. We got you back on the screen for us a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was mean.
Hard.
Now, what would you like to title this one? No, first time on. Fuck it. This episode can be your title. What do you want?
Title. Oh.
What should we call it?
I'm not very good with things on the spot.
know.
Why'd you do that to me? If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Tommy's gonna be so pissed, man. He's gonna be so pissed. Oh. Yeah, no, I can do that.
Yeah, man.
We will chuck that in the title.
Hard. Oh no, man. Awesome.
Easy. All right. Well, we'll call it at that. Good hour and a half podcast. That was mean. We'll do it again. Do it more often.
Hard.
It'll be mean. We'll get Tommy on. We'll get you and Tommy on at the same time. Get all four of us here. We'll get Colt, you,
Yeah.
Tommy. I've got lots of people lined up. It's just a matter of time of getting it done.
Pretty
Mean.
much. No,
All right.
Awesome.
I think you've been on.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you on next time.
Later.